What's up, tubers? T.O. here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight to finish up Lake Houston. That's right, we got to finish up Lake Houston tonight. And so, what we're going to do is we're going to go offshore. We're going to use the Navionics mobile app, and we're going to see if we can put you guys on some fish. Stick around, got some good stuff for you. Let's go. Let's get started on Lake Houston. So if you missed the videos before, I'll put a link up to the top that takes you back to the Google Earth breakdowns. This breakdown is actually going to be using the Navionics mobile app to look at the contour lines on this lake to figure out if there are any offshore hotspots maybe that we need to go look at to be able to find that next largemouth bass. So before we jump into this, what I want to talk about first when we're talking about offshore hotspots, because I don't want you to go out on this lake and go really focus on the offshore stuff if the lake is really, really dirty. So we saw in the Google Earth breakdowns where this lake, the clarity can be all over the place, right? 1 minute it's green and the next minute it's totally brown. Well, if it's totally brown, that offshore stuff is going to be really tough. So, and typically if it's a muddier lake, your fish are going to be a lot shallower. So just remember that as you're fishing this lake, some of these offshore spots may not be as good as they would be on a normal lake that didn't fluctuate so much in clarity. But anyways, they should still have some fish on them. So let's go ahead and dive into them and look at them. So as you know, we always start at the dam, work our way up. First spot really is going to be right down here by the dam. There's an isolated dock down here. And anytime you can find an isolated dock, that's always good. That's a big plus. But if you look really closely at this dock, what you've got is you've got some contours that are going up really close to the dock. So you've got a break that's off to the east side of that dock. If you're looking at the way we're looking at it right now, just off to the east, see where it gets white and see where basically it just kind of gradually drops into that deeper side. That area of that dock is going to be more than likely going to be your hotter spot of that dock. So back there, back around, if we really zoom in here, back around in here, like this whole area right in here, and the main dock where it's at, where all the boat slips would be. If there's boat slips on this, I'm not sure. But anyways, spending a ton of time on this one spot. But take a look at that, because that does look like a really good spot to be able to find some fish. I know it's not necessarily offshore, but that dock comes off a little ways. So you can kind of look at it offshore. You're not hitting the bank, you're definitely hitting off the bank. Our next spot's going to be right up here, and I was talking so I wasn't showing you, but if we kind of come around here, I didn't see too much going on out here. I mean, you've got a lot deeper water out here. You've obviously got the main creek or river arm that you can see that comes down here, the river bed. So you could fish around that. That's just going to be some really deep water. And you guys know I've talked about it a lot. I don't spend too much time out in 30, 40 foot of water. I just don't have a lot of confidence there yet. And in the Texas lakes, it's just for some reason, unless it's like dead winter or in the really, really, really hot summers, I might try to go out that deep. But I just don't have a lot of success out there. So I don't really mark those for you guys just because of that. I don't feel confident out there. I don't feel like you can catch a ton of fish out there. So therefore, I'm just not going to put the marks out there for you. But if you wanted to get really technical, you could go out there and really take a look at it. So let's get in here more in areas where we can fish, where it's not 40 something foot of water. Right here around this point looks awesome. If you look at the point, you've got a nice drop. Look how dark those lines get right there. That means that there's a very sharp drop right in that area. That's a perfect spot. One, you've got the river channel coming right through here, right? This is your little river channel coming through, not little, but big river channel coming right through here. So the river channel's close by. You've got a good drop, and you've got a pretty good point that's here as well. So you definitely want to check that one out. As you get a little bit further up and you come off of that, there's an underwater point that's here as well. So you could come over to this point and look right off the edge of that point. That could be a really good spot to fish. Just fishing that point in general definitely could be good as well. So let's zoom back out a little bit, show you where I'm at. We're going to move on up here past this cove, and we're going to get into this area. Now this looked pretty interesting to me. It just looks like a hump that's out here in the middle of the water at 18 feet. Everything else is 21 to 27. You break off this way, you get to 24. So it's about, 6-7 foot, somewhere around in there, of a hump that comes up. Those can sometimes be really great places to find fish, and typically it's a harder spot. So there'll be some type of a rock on top of it or something like that. Really good areas to find some fish. So as we move out of there and we get more over here towards the larger bend, when we get out here in the main river channel, which is right out here, right around this bend, looks really good. I would say fish this entire bend, really get on here and use your electronics and see if you can find any fish from the start right here. And I'd probably go, all the way down into here somewhere and just scan around and see what you can find. You're probably going to find them right up on those little ledges right there. So like right here where that fish marker is, notice it's 10 foot right here, and then all of a sudden next thing you know it's 40 foot. That's a really good ledge that's out there in the lake. You want to go check those out for sure. Also out in here you've got the kind of the same thing. As the river channel comes down, it swings around that bend up top, right? And as it swings down, as you're moving down through here, you can see you've got this really good flat. Or you could call it an underwater point, whatever you want to call it. It's a nice little flat point that comes up, but what it does is it creates that nice ledge that's right there. You can see it goes from 7 foot, all the way to something like 36 foot. So you've got a really good ledge going on right here in this area. I'll back out a little bit more, show you guys where I'm at. We're swinging up now around where that river arm goes, and the next thing would be these next 3 spots right in here. And really the main reason why I'm picking these out is because that river arm is coming right through here. So first you've got a little point that comes right here, nice flat top, good breaks, really close to the river channel. Right here as well you've got another spot. If you look really closely, this one might not be hit up as much because it's not as obvious on a contour map, but it's definitely there. You've got an underwater point that comes out. It's about 10 foot on top. It's pretty flat, looks pretty good, and then it has a nice little break right out there into the river channel as well. And then up here you kind of got the same thing, another little underwater point. You can tell you got a little bitty ledge or something going on here because you've got 6 foot, and then it breaks all the way down to 16 foot. So you've got a little bit of a ledge going on there. You definitely want to check that one out as well. And then while you're there, swing over and check out the inside as well. A lot of times I'll focus on the outside bend because that's usually where you get your deeper water, your ledges and things like that. But there's times when you want to check on the inside as well. And this one's very unique because on the inside it doesn't shallow up. It basically is just it's a hump that's out there, or a big flat that comes out, or a big point that comes out, and it hits and it kind of creates that pinch point there in the in the river channel. That's the bend that's right there. So definitely look right there, right where it says slope, and see if you can find anything in there as well. All right, so I'm going to keep moving up. And as we move up, obviously you see I don't have a ton of offshore stuff on this lake. I told you I don't know if this lake's really going to be that great for offshore. I'm sure there's guys out here that say, dude, this lake is awesome for offshore. And they're probably right, but there's probably other ones that say no. So I have no idea, but fish these, and I think these are going to put you on the higher percentage areas. And then based on what you find here, you can kind of build the offshore spots even more off of that. But right here, really like this. Let's take a look at this. If you look, there's some kind of something going on here. It's not really a river channel or anything, but a real good break going on all around this point. And if you get right here to the bottom of the point, it really becomes really close to the land. So you got pretty close to the land, and then all of a sudden you're in 14, 15 foot of water. So real good point just right in there. So definitely look right in that area. I'm going to zoom back and show you guys where I'm at. We're going to zoom on up here. Get a little bit further up the lake. Again, focusing on that river channel, right, because we're looking offshore. You can see right here on this bend where you see these 2 fish. It's really a good bend in the river channel, and you've got some really good ledges right here. You've got 17 foot to 30 foot. You've got, what's this right in here? It says ledge 1, 13 foot to 28 foot. So you've got some really good breaks there, and you've got the bend. So that obviously makes it even better. Obviously, you're going to have the breaks all along the river channel, but anytime you can find those swings where it swings up against something, or just a regular bend where you just see here you got a really big turn, those are going to be key spots to try to find fish. The other key areas are intersections. So intersections where either the river channel cuts off, so it branches off into a different area, or where the river channel actually might have creeks that run into it. So for example, right here is a perfect example of that. This river channel breaks off and goes off this way. Now this could be a creek coming in. It doesn't really look like it. Could just be a little arm of the river swinging out and coming out here. But these are good areas right here in the intersections of those. And if you look right here, there's actually a fish spot right on it. But this is a really good point as well, 6 to 7 foot. And then it breaks off right into here, the river channel. The fish love to set up on the insides of these. Let's say the river's going this way, which it should be. So the fish will set up on the inside of here, and as the bait comes by, they just attack them. So it's a great place to look. It's always look at those intersections when you find those river channels. All right, so we're going to keep moving up. We go around that little bend and we're getting up here about midway through the lake. Again, another little spot where the river is actually making a bend and it's creating a pretty good ledge right in that area. So check that out. Also right here, this is going to be another bend. You've got some flooded timber out here. You've got a big flat that's up here at 8 foot, and then it's breaking off into 20-something foot. So right there on that bend, that's going to be a really good area to take a look at. Also, we're going to come up here, look over here right off of the edge of this. It's just a little bitty point, not even very noticeable, but it says there's some rocks there. And I believe we even verified that on Google Earth, like we could see something in there. So I went ahead and marked that one as well, so you guys have that one. Those rock piles are always good. And then if you move up here, we're getting up here by these railroad tracks or something, some kind of bridge. But as we get up here off this point looks really good. There's a brush pile or something right off the edge of this point. You can see all the different fishing markers along the pilings. So if you're a crappie fisherman, you definitely want to hit up this bridge on the pilings. But bass fishermen, man, I'm telling you, bridges are money. And a lot of people just fly past them. It blows my mind that people just fly past the bridges and never fish them. These pilings, especially when you get the pilings that are close to the river channels, those can be really great places to find really big bass. So make sure you go check this out. This one looks good because you've got the river channel coming through here. You've got a really good point here. So you got a main lake point and you have the bridge. So everything's looking really good for that spot. You definitely want to go check that one out. And as you're there, as you come underneath that bridge, over here off to the left, there's some stumps over here that you should be able to see, maybe be able to see. It says there's some concrete blocks and things like that out here. But check this out right here. It says it comes up to about 6 foot. You need to be super careful when you come over here. But if that's right, that's going to be a really good place that fish are really going to be attracted to. So you want to go out there and look at that. Now, as you move up a little bit further, let me show you where I'm at. I'm just going to be right underneath these power lines. So as I move over here, there's some interesting stuff going on under the water in this area as well. And so if I look right here, we've got some humps that come out here. You can see the top of this hump is only 5 foot, so you got to be super careful. It says there's a road bed there as well, but if there's a road bed there, that means that there's concrete, there's some kind of rock, something that they're going to be related to. So you always want to go and check those areas out anytime you can find those hard spots. As you get a little bit further over here, I don't know if this was an old pond or what's going on, but you've got some major depth changes going on right in this area. You can see where I put the 2 fishes. Those are going to be the 2 of the spots that I think I would look at, but I would look in this whole entire area. Not sure what's going on in here, but I'm telling you, there's got to be something right around in here, some pretty good ledges or something that's going to be worthwhile to take a look at. You can look at the 2 markers where I have them there, but don't be scared to come over here and check this out too. I mean, you're going from 10 foot to 38 foot, 6 foot to 37 foot. I mean, you've got some really good breaks. You've got road beds that are up here with rocks and stuff like that. This whole area just looks like it could be a really good area to find some offshore stuff. As we move a little bit further up, we get over here. This little output, whatever this is, I don't know if it's an output or what it is, but it's definitely got a really big, deep hole here. So fish, basically start scanning way out here, but come up in here and really fish along the edges here. I don't know how close you can get, if there's any buoys that keep you from getting back there, or maybe there's not. Maybe that's just a normal cove. But look around here. Look in this whole entire area. Because with all those different contour changes, especially with that really sharp break right there on that point and that little pinch point being there, that could be a really good spot to look at as well. All right, so as we move up here, we start getting into the really shallow stuff. So we're almost finished with this lake, unfortunately. But let's move up a little bit and let's just talk about what we found up here. Now we're getting way up here into the into the riverside, but river bends, you guys have already heard me talk about it. You want to follow those. Anytime you see this, where the river comes up and slams up against the side and hangs onto that side for quite a long time, that is always going to be a productive bank. It's a bank that you've got to stop and you got to fish every time you go out there. It doesn't matter what time of year it is, go fish that bank. That bank is a really good bank. If you look down here, as the creek channel or river channel comes down here and swings down this way, that's funny, it says community hole, swings down this way, right off of this point, you got some really good ledges here. And again, that creek channel or river channel is coming down and it's hitting that bank line the entire time. And those are always prime spots to find fish. Again, doesn't matter what time of year it is. As we move over here to the left side, we kind of got the same type stuff going on. I guess not as much of a river channel over here. It's pretty shallow. You got some stuff going on back here, but I really like the back side of this island. So if you notice, the island's pretty shallow, obviously. On the back side of the island's really shallow. But right out here off this side, you have a pretty good drop into 4 or 5 feet. Not much of a ledge, but there is a ledge there that looks like on the back side of that island. And then right over here, you kind of have the same type thing. You have some kind of a little hump that comes up. It comes up about 5 feet, but right off the edge of that, you got a little bitty ledge going on right in there. You can see it if I zoom that back a little bit more. So I think that covers us. We're going to go down here and make sure I didn't miss anything. We talked about those river channels. Let's make sure we didn't forget anything here. And that covers us for Lake Houston. So guys, that covers all the offshore hotspots for Lake Houston. Hopefully you guys are able to go out there and take advantage of that. Go out and check out my website, simplisticfishing.com. You can get all of these waypoints, the offshore stuff, plus all the Google Earth waypoints. I'll put them onto a card for you in the format for your graph, and then basically you put the card in and do the import. Or you can also go out there and get the digital file and just take the digital file. Basically, I'll email it to you, take the file, put it on your card, and then do the import that way. The only difference is I don't send you the card, I just send you the file. So anyways, go check it out, simplisticfishing.com. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, and until next time, I hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.